don't know how I missed this yesterday. I did a video about the Morning Joe show yesterday, about them having ejected David from the show and him subsequently writing an op-ed or an article in The Atlantic about fear, about capitulation, about fear being contagious, but courage also being infectious, I think is how he put it. And what I missed was yesterday, likely while I was recording that video, Morning Joe went on a freak out rant, screaming at his audience, screaming might be a little harsh, but attacking the audience with a raised voice, belittling them for not knowing enough about the media, and generally just raging about criticism of his capitulation, his anticipatory obedience to Donald Trump even before he's taken office. I'm going to share it with you. There's a whole bunch here. It was like a 9.5, 10, 12-minute thing. He may have gone on for as long as maybe 20 minutes about this particular grouping of events, really an airing of grievance from him, while Mika nodded along and acted irritated that she even had to address this to the audience. Here's about 1 minute and 45 seconds of it, roughly. You'll see the timer. If you've already seen it, you can skip ahead. And then we're going to talk about it, some of the claims, and just his general bad attitude.
And so I understand if you don't know how the media works day in and day out, and you're just like watching this show day in and day out, I understand that you'd be like, wow, okay, man, that's sudden. But for media reporters to lie, to pretend that this is a shock, to try to get clips, for Washington Post reporters and columnists say, how dare they go see him after they said he was a fascist? And that's exactly what the Washington Post is doing. That's exactly what the Wall Street Journal is doing.
Their job.
That's exactly what the New York Times... Yeah, you know what you call it? You call it their job. And let me say this. Two things. You can do two things at the same time. You can say he had fascist rhetoric and still go in and talk to him.
Yeah.
You know why I do that? To get the read of the man. You know why I went in and talked to Macron? To get the read of the man at a crucial time in EU funding and NATO funding. You know why I went to leaders in the Middle East who were angry at the United States, and I sat there and I listened to them attacking me personally for 45 minutes because of U.S. policy? You know why I do that? To get the read of the leader, to get the read of where the country's going. So I can come back here and talk to you and let you know what the hell is going on.
With context and
give you context, insight, and background. You know everybody we have on the show that's a reporter? It's what they do every day. They speak on background.
So he's pushing back against the narrative, the reported narrative from sources within his organization, employees and co-workers of Joe Scarborough, that he was afraid. In fact, here's the headline here from CNN, from Brian Stelter. Look, you can say a lot of things about Brian Stelter. He's kind of a goof. He's not a liar. He does have integrity. This is the headline. Morning Joe meeting with Trump was driven by fears of retribution from incoming administration, sources say. And if you go through, it's multiple people they spoke to within the organization of MSNBC who know what's going on there. So he was afraid. They are afraid. They are anticipatory, obedient. Let me address a couple things he said there. Look, I understand if you watch this show every single day, you dedicate time being a patron of this particular program, and you're just such a stupid rube, you don't understand how the media works. I get it, says Joe Scarborough. As he then shifts after insulting his audience to talk about, you know why I went down there? Yeah, we call out his fascist rhetoric, and then we did go down there to meet him. You know why?
You know why I do that? To get the read of the man.
Did you get your read on the man? Joe Scarborough? What reading of the man did you need, Joe Scarborough? What did you not know about Donald Trump prior to the meeting at Mar-a-Lago that you walked away having more knowledge and understanding having read the man? Do you not know enough about Donald Trump and what his machinations are, what his motivations are, what his plan and plot is, what he's scheming for the American public? You didn't know until you met with him, until you looked across the table eye to eye with Donald Trump. You didn't know what he was about. Were you asleep during the first administration? Were you asleep during the 2020 campaign? Were you asleep since 2015 until now? Also, let me say this, as someone who is also, like you, not a reporter, you're not that. You're not a reporter. You're not on par with even a Washington Post or a Wall Street Journal journalist. You're not that. You're a former Republican congressman turned commentator. You do what I do, except you do it for corporate media. You know that. You didn't break any stories. In fact, you didn't come back with the thing you said, I did this so I could come back and report to you. Well, what did you report, Joe? What did you explain to us, the rubes who watch your show? What new information have you ascertained about Donald Trump? Until you tell us, shut up. Quit making excuses for your capitulation, your compliance in advance. You're obeying Donald Trump before he even has a chance to implement the fascism. Your incensed attitude is just for show, brother. You talked a big game when Donald Trump was not in power. You talked a big game when you thought Kamala Harris was going to win the election. But you need to do like some of us are doing and continue the talk. Continue to rail against the evils that will be brought upon the United States of America when Donald Trump is ultimately in office again. You don't rush to kiss the ring. You don't rush to beg, please lighten the load of retribution, dear leader. You don't obey in advance. And now that you're hemorrhaging viewers, I would assume, you're attacking the people that you claim to be serving so well as a journalist. It's just gross. Tell me if I'm off base, everybody. I'd love to know. 714-576-4054. Or, of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Joe, get at me in the comments. That'll help the algorithm, something you probably don't know much about because you're on network TV, cable news, and I'm just a lowly serf, one of the rubes who doesn't understand the media because I'm a YouTuber. If you're out there and you want to help support this work, this independent media work, not corporate media, not selling out, not capitulating, not kissing the asshole of Donald Trump, like some. We won't name any names. I don't want an angry email fired off or another episode focused on the rubes. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. You can also go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Go check out some merch. You can get some mugs, the bat phone stickers that I'm keep yammering about. There's all kinds of new stuff. It's fantastic. And every single purchase goes a long way to help support this particular work. My voice. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. And I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.